Hi, I'm Luke from Everlasting Arms. I'm a permit to carry instructor certified by the NRA, by the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension here in Minnesota, and the Bureau of Criminal Identification in Utah. I'm sure all of you have seen the video of the officer who apparently wrongfully arrests the nurse for not drawing blood. Now, the implied consent laws are confusing. They can be difficult. The Supreme Court did rule that a breathalyzer is not a violation of a constitutional right, and the implied consent laws in most states would be upheld in those situations. The drawing of blood, now that becomes very invasive, and that is a very different issue and a very different situation, and most states are following the rules that you need a warrant for that, even though there is implied consent laws on the books. That's not really what I want to talk about here, though, for the most part. Whether that officer was right or wrong, I believe he handled things in the wrong way. I believe he was too forceful. He used force in a situation that didn't warrant it. I believe the nurse was very good in the way that she approached things, and she got her supervisors on the phone and seemed to be following the policy that was set in front of her. May have been a bad policy, may have been a wrong policy. I'm not sure. We'll find out more about that as details emerge. But what I do want to talk about here today is more along the lines of what you should do in a situation where it appears your Fourth Amendment rights are being violated. Now, you do have a Fourth Amendment right to protect yourself against unlawful search and seizure. You have the right to secure your personal papers, effects, and person against unreasonable searches and seizures. Now, how do you go about doing that? What's the best way to deal with this as a citizen who believes your Fourth Amendment rights are being violated? Now, are you going to get into a fight with the officer and resist arrest? That just never ends very well for the individual. So I really don't recommend that. Now, I mean, if we're talking about loss of life or something like that, wrongfully, that's a different situation. But when we're talking about being hauled off in handcuffs, I know it's hard. I know it's really rough. And especially in a situation where it was highly volatile and this nurse felt maybe fear for her life or safety or something else. She didn't know what was going to happen when this angry officer was wrongfully arresting her. Apparently wrongfully arresting her, right? So I can see it very difficult for her to submit to that. But we really have to. You know, when it comes down to it, we have to allow the officers the authority that they have. And with that comes them making mistakes or doing the wrong thing sometimes. The time to fight this is not on the side of the road at 3 o'clock in the morning when the officer is trying to arrest you wrongfully, or in the middle of this hospital and to resist arrest. You have to go along with it. Now, if you resist arrest and you get into a big scuffle and a fight, you can now be charged with resisting arrest and you lost a large portion of your voice. If you would go along with that, allow your rights to be temporarily infringed upon, and then deal with your lawyer and deal with the attorneys afterwards in the court system, you have a voice and you will effectively be heard and be able to get justice later on. I know it's rough. I know it's difficult. I know it really, really sucks to go along with some of these things when you know something is wrong. We don't always know 100% that it was wrong. We look at that situation and say, well, you know, that officer treated her the wrong way. But then you look at implied consent laws and it can get confusing really, really quick. It's not the things that we don't know that get us in trouble, but it's the things that we know for certain that aren't true. So we have to be really careful about that. If you are going to put up a fight, and if you are going to resist this unlawful search and seizure, you had better be 100% right. And in the legal system that we have today, that's a really hard thing to say. It's a really hard thing for anybody to say, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that what I am doing right now in resisting this arrest is completely 100% right. To be safe, go along with it. I know it's hard, it's difficult. Go along with it and have your voice be heard later on. Stay safe, my friends. Keep carrying and be vigilant. We'll see you guys later.